ladies and gents, germs, and jingle bells, and all that is holy and unholy, uh, simultaneously. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is gonna be some like a third attempt, sort of, at doing this replay. I did it the first time, and then I didn't like what I was saying, and then I didn't like all of the audio problems that I was having. Did it a second time, still had audio problems, and I still didn't like what I was saying. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it again. So I came back today, and I'm doing it again. Anyway, but I'm back. This is what we doing. I got my epic pen. Got my dry. I got my dick drawing machine. Boy, yeah. And I want to start out, of course, by talking about the kickoff. So, phindex. Phindex? Phindex. Phindex. It's got to be phindex, right? Alright, phindex. What I want you to do phindex on your kickoff is I want you to dash. Because you do not dash, and it is not efficient. So I want to see you dashing on your kickoff right about here. And don't feather on the ground. It's not a thing. Don't feather on the ground. Or feather your boost on the ground, I mean. So yeah, just hold boost the whole way, and then dash right about here. And you can also turn towards the ball a little bit, just slightly before you dash. Sometimes that helps, so that you don't end up to the left of the ball, you know what I mean? But yeah, when you go into the dash, you want to boost into it a little bit so that it propels you forward a little bit more. Generally, if you're looking for speed on your forward dashes, you don't want to boost, take off boost, and then dash. You want to boost with a slight overlap into your dash so that it helps propel you forward. It's a lot more boost efficient speed wise. And yeah, you would let me see this again. You would have landed from your flip, you would have flipped right about there, landed, say, right about there, and you would have had probably 15 boosts because you would have been flipping instead of boosting to get to here. So you would have landed here with 15 boosts, and that allows you many more options on the kickoff and many other types of kickoffs that you can use in terms of the way you dash into the ball. But speaking of dashing into the ball, I really like the way that you dash here. Once you get up to the ball, I really like the way you dash because you forward flip a little bit earlier and you collide with the ball with the hood of your car. So that just means that you've got all this girth right here just blocking them from getting to the net or from pushing the ball into your net. So I really like that. I think that you have a very solid kickoff, honestly, in terms of safety. I trust your kickoff a lot. That's why I cheat up to get. I'll cheat up, and I'll be like over freaking here already sometimes because, I know that your kickoff is probably is a is a very safe one, and it's one that I can trust and follow up on. Which is actually what Rox is doing here, and he's gonna almost freaking score. Because Cougar Preth actually did the same kickoff and the ball stalled here. But yeah, no, I like your kickoff. It's very safe. Or once you get here, I like your kickoff. It's very safe. But yeah, incorporate the dash and you'll have a lot more boost for your recovery afterwards. And most kickoffs that are like, high level or really mechanical kickoffs or whatever will have you flipping your nose into the center of the ball. So like you'll jump and flip into the very center of the ball with your nose, and that's a lot less safe, but it's also much easier to direct the ball. Like you can kind of manipulate where the ball goes much more easier. You can intentionally lose it in a certain direction, or you can intentionally send it in a certain direction, really. But anyway, that's enough about the kickoff. Let's move on a little bit here. So yeah, he comes in, and Adam makes a save. That's great. This is fine. Nothing wrong with this. We're going back to the back post. And here you do make a mistake. So when you see Small Wise Bear here, when he comes in, this is now his ball. Absolutely, this is his ball. It's not Adam's ball. It's not your ball. His ball is coming straight into, collision path with Wise Bear, and he's moved into position. And this is why you go to the back post. You know what I mean? So that this guy can go and take the take the shot and keep the play moving, keep everybody in momentum, so that you can keep moving, he can keep moving, Adam can keep moving, and nobody has to stop. And that's something I'm going to come back to later because you stop a lot. But yeah, you commit for this ball, and try and rush this ball, but it's absolutely not your ball. 100% Wise Bear's ball here, because you're basically third man. The only time this would be your ball is if this thing was fucking boomed over to this corner and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go get that. But definitely Bear's ball. So yeah, you end up wasting a bunch of boosts there, throw yourself out of position. Now you can't follow up on the play. You have to be all the way back here. Another thing, and this was something I grilled Adam about, and I kind of forgot to mention it in my other playthroughs of this save, is that, or of this replay, is when this ball ends up over here, and you've got, especially when you have teammates on this side of the field, you don't want to hang around on this side of the field. You want to be across. You want to be going back to that side. If you're going to go back, you want to go back to that side. And actually what ends up happening is the ball just goes completely away from both of your teammates and goes to that side. Had you gone that way, had you helped cover all of the portions of the field, you shut down their options. So when this ball does get cleared over this way, you're already there, and you'll be the first one to scoop it up. And that's a really important part of possession, is covering every part of the field with all three players in threes. So yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about here. This ball goes and ends up way over there. Had you been rotating on that side, you could have had probably a lot more boost to work with. You could have even scooped up that corner on the way over, which is what you end up doing, but you get there probably 4 or 5 seconds later than you could have. I think you need to get a little bit more comfortable with getting boost without, not necessarily without fixed cam, but using fixed cam for less amounts of time. I use fixed cam all the time, but in very small increments. So I will flip. I will not flip the car. Flip the ball cam off briefly to see where I'm going. Straighten myself to where I need to be to get to the boost, and then turn it back on. Turn ball cam back on so I can see the ball. Here you've got fixed cam on the whole time, and you're basically running blind, which is why when you get up here, you can't read this. And it's, I always say, we'll use fixed cam for the walls, but you don't want to use fixed cam for going up the wall. You want to use fixed cam once you're on the straight part of the wall already, like here. This is where it can help, depending on the person. It can help to help read this ball. But because you were so blind to this ball, this is an error that you forced on yourself right here. Because you weren't looking at the ball. So how could you read where it's going to be? So yeah, use fixed cam, I'd say more briefly. Maybe more often, but for less periods of time. Helps for map awareness. The whole reason that you would want to use ball cam in your own half when you're not playing the ball is to be able to predict what's going to happen next, or to be able to at least see it coming faster. Both your teammates here are in kind of a stupid position, and I double commit for the ball. Normally, I'd say go back to that back post, but since they've both committed here, there's going to be a player riding up here. You're absolutely right to go in and take this. So good job on that. So yeah, you go take that. That's fine. That actually hits a nice part of the wall. You get the read off of the wall. Um, I don't know if you heard it, but freaking Care Bear over there. I'm calling him Care Bear now. Care Bear over there. Um, Jumped right behind you. He was just on your ass the whole time. Um, Kind of doing the same thing you did earlier, where he goes for a ball that's just not his. But yeah, this this is absolutely your ball to go for. So, and you made the read and got it down to Adam. You even passed it down to Adam, so good job on that. It's right there. You can't make the play though, and you've got to get a bit more comfortable with recoveries because it's not even like this rough landing here, but the path that you end up taking is very wonky. You kind of half turn and then dash this way, which is, considering the position that you want to be in for what's happening right now. Although you see the stream there, the ball's going this way, and there's nobody back. Adam committed. Oh, there he is. Adam committed over here. And Bear's going to be struggling back here by himself. So the position that you want to be heading for is to cover, this part of the field, and this will also allow you to move in to replace Care Bear when he goes for this ball. You want to be able to replace him in the net. You never want to be in the net with him at the same time. You want to replace his presence. You want to fill that gap that he leaves when he has to go and challenge the ball. And his job at that point is to make sure that he does challenge the ball so that you can move in and that you don't have to stop. And that's something that tends to happen a lot in your games. I notice is that you and everyone else will stack the net. You'll have a person on front post, a person in the middle, and a person on back post, and nobody's freaking moving. Never should that happen. It should be, this person's moving, there's a person coming in to replace their presence in the net, and you've got somebody either out support this way if you want to. I've got too many lines on the screen. So yeah, you want to have a person, say the ball's in this corner, you want to have a person going to challenge the ball immediately, and if they have teammates behind them, they want somebody to come in, replace their presence in the net, so that there's no gaps in the defense. And then if you're confident and you're the third man who's over the fuck here somewhere, you can even pull up this way and give this guy options when he passes out. But you can also just do more of a safe route and stay back over here near the back posts to back up the person that is in net, the second man that is in net. And that's basically how you determine the roles. 1, 2, 3. On defense, it's the roles are a lot more straightforward, but keeping it organized is much more difficult. But yeah, I've ranted long enough about that. So how this started was because I wanted to talk about you needing to make affirmative turns. And you go for this boost over here, which isn't even that bad. But you don't go directly to the boost. You take a half turn, and then you go along the side, and then you get the boost, and then you go over this way, and you're making like half turns each time. You almost never want to make like half turns. You want to do sharp turns, and put yourself, directly straight where you want to be, and then straight where you go after that. You know what I mean? So yeah, you should be thinking about this ahead of time too. Once you're falling in the air from this play, you want to be thinking about how you're going to recover and where you're going to go from there. You don't want to think about it when you're there. You want to be anticipating. You have to already be thinking about it. Players with really good mechanics and really good awareness will challenge the ball in a way that aids their recovery a lot of times. Like, they'll manipulate their car to hit the ball and land on their wheels on the wall or something like that if the ball's next to the wall. And it speeds up recovery so much when you begin to think about what happens after I do. or after I do this, what happens next? What is my play after this? So it kind of looks like you just weren't prepared to land. You know what I mean? Like it looks like the only thing that you were thinking about was going up for the ball, and not about how to land, which is equally, if not more important. um. Anyway, where am I going with this? I don't know. We're gonna play. We're gonna play the play. I'm gonna play the play and do the play and do the play. Flow like water. Um, oh yeah. So don't turn towards the middle here. You do this a lot where you like turn towards the ball, even though there's already people completely covering the options. Like you've got two people in the corner here, which means you're never gonna want to turn towards them. You know what I mean? Well, not straight towards them anyway. You want to be covering the goal from the best position possible, which is going to be over here on the back post. Now, it doesn't end up mattering because nobody takes a shot, nobody moves in from the blue team. Nobody moves in to do anything about it, so it doesn't end up mattering on this play. But you always want to hit the back post and go through it if you're gonna end up being in the goal. But once you are here, this is good. This is a good position right here. And this is good because for a few reasons. One, it allows you to anyway, at least since you've got invisible walls here, or visible walls, see-through walls, see-through goalposts, whatever the fuck they call it. Since you have this, you can clearly see what's happening here, and you can also see any demo threats that are coming through. And they have to make a right angle turn here to get to you, which means they're not going to end up demoing you. It takes away the risk of being demoed in net, and you're closer to this post, which means you're able to defend the ball coming across the net much quicker, if you can read it. And that is what happens here. All three players get up and read it, but it works. Your positioning was good on that. You pulled up too far on this one. If you're not actively playing the ball, you want to hold the midfield line. You want to do this. And, again, this is something that I was telling Adam all the time. You want to hold the midfield line and do back and forths until something develops and and what you should do is clear. Because if you just go in here like you did, ball's probably going to get launched over your head, and you won't be able to reach it. You show your hand, essentially, when you pull up as far as you did. Because Small Wise Bear is still playing this ball right now. So, it's not advantageous to move up into this position. The blue player is closer, and your teammate is closer, which means that they're the ones that are going to probably end up making the play. If Small Wise Bear backs out, and this guy grabs the ball and starts dribbling, fucking go get it. But if if this happens kind of like it did, let me move forward a little bit. If this happens kind of like it did, where your teammate misses the challenge and this guy doesn't and booms it, you never want to be here. This is no man's land right now. You're not close enough to the play to make a touch on the ball, and you're not far enough away to receive whatever power this guy is going to put on it. So you have to anticipate that the ball is going to get cleared to the midfield line, and be ready for that to happen. And if it doesn't, if they slow play, that's when you can go in. But yeah, still not doing too bad this far. That was not the greatest challenge. More from this wouldn't be as bad in twos. This would be an okay challenge in twos. So I'm not taking away too many points here. But the reason that it's really bad in threes is because there you go. The reason it's really bad in threes is because Adam's actually mispositioned here, but um, is because Adam should be the one coming up to receive this ball. Adam's the one back on defense, and you're basically out of the play. In threes, you have to let your third man come in. They have the better angle, they have the better read, they can read the play much better than you can. Um, they're coming from goal side, which means that there's much less risk of some wild pinch happening and it going into your net. So yeah, always if you can, let your third man, let the person behind you come in and take the ball that's over your head. You almost never want to cross back in front of them. That just confuses them, and Adam's position now doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that. Whoa. Okay, hold on. There we go. So yeah, Adam turned away there. I don't know if he turned away because he saw you turn in and was reacting to that, or if he turned away when he shouldn't have. Either way, it ended up working out because Adam didn't want to go and challenge that ball. But it was, ideally his ball to challenge. But again, not a huge deal, and you did a good job with beating the guy, so it worked out pretty alright. Anyway, back to why the camera's all weird. Okay. Oh yeah, wait, there was one more thing I wanted to bring up about why this is bad. Sorry, I must do it. So, another reason why this is bad is because now you can't rotate out. So, had you not challenged this ball, you could be going this way right now. You could be hitting up boost pads, collecting 50, 100 boosts, whatever it is, and Adam could be going to receive this, which is much better for everybody because it allows a more consistent and clear-cut rotation, where Adam goes in, you're circling back, this guy's circling back, and if he, let's just say for example that Adam goes up, gets a good challenge on this ball, and beats Roxa to it. Well, now small, and it pinches out this way. Well, now small Wisebear can just scoop it up. You know what I mean? You just scoop it up and push it onto net. But if the opposite happens and it goes straight towards your net, then that's okay because you'd be back. So you have every option covered this way. That's the point of rotation is to cover every gap that could open up. But with you over here, Adam's position doesn't make any sense, and now you're recovering on the wrong side of the field, because now you're over here in boostless and the ball's over here. which means that you're the only one that's in a position to play the ball, but you're not capable of playing the ball. Much better position would be across from the play, because you want to be backing out of this right now so that Adam can come in. Anyway, yeah, much better to be on the other side of the field once that play develops, which is why you generally don't want to cut back. Oh, son of a bitch, really? I knew I shouldn't have done this. Fine, we'll fix it again. Anyway, while there's this downtime, I gotta fix this again. I'm gonna talk about how fucking hard it was to figure out how to get your replay, because it doesn't have a title on it. So what I had to do was I had to sort my replays by date modified, and then I had to find it by name, or verify it by name, and select every other replay and delete it. And then I had to go to Steam, start this in offline mode, so that I could so that it wouldn't sync with the cloud and put all my replays back in there. That way, the only replay that I have in here is yours. So there's no searching around pointlessly. If my taskbar would go away, that would be fantastic. That would be absolutely great if my taskbar would fucking stop. Oh, come on. Excuse me while we run into technical difficulties with Windows fucking 10. Oh, there we go. We fixed it, boys. Alright, where the fuck was I? No, I'm not using that menu. Because that menu breaks. Player view... phindex. Where was I? We were... past this play, past that play, past that play. Ah, this way. No, wait, this way. Yeah. Alright, we back in it. And now you're on... yeah, see, now you're on the wrong side of the field. It would be much better for positioning if you were on the other side of the field right now. Where the hell did you get all that boost from? You run over that boost pad? I don't know. And now this is just awkward for everybody, because you should have never been in this corner in the first place. So you're closest to the ball, so it feels like you should be challenging it, but you're also at a disadvantage compared to whoever is on the blue team coming into this corner. So technically you shouldn't be the one challenging this ball. It should be the guy who has the run-up and stays goal side the whole time, instead of you turning back in. So you never really want to turn back into a corner that you were halfway out of. Almost never do you want to do that unless like you're the only one here. You know what I mean? But you have two teammates in net. You have to be aware that they're trying to move forward. Again, you never want to have your teammates sitting in net. You or your teammates sitting in net. So if you turning into this corner results in them sitting still, then I'm almost always going to disagree with that decision. It's not, in this case, in this scenario, it's not too high risk, because there's very little risk of Cougar Breath here actually getting this past you in any meaningful way. But it's not a good habit. And Adam wants to go forward. He's like, I can't let this play stall, so he tries to go forward, doesn't pay attention to you, and just smacks into your ass. And now you guys are just driving in sync right now. And that's always a bad sign, to have, two people driving in the with the exact same movement right behind each other. And I don't know why Adam's challenging this. I don't know why you're challenging this. The only person that should be challenging this is Small Wise Bear. Both you and Adam need to be getting the hell out of this clusterfuck spot right here. This is high risk of an own goal right now. So you should be, both of you should be going back here, and one of you steps forward and goes into the net. One of you goes out in the back row, so we can fix this rotation and have a good old 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Instead of this, whatever this formation is. Works out, and you reverse into the back post, which I find a little bit funny. Other than recoveries, almost never should you go in reverse. And yeah, okay, hold on. And you don't want to pull into this corner. This dash right here is no. You got to be holding the fort down. Yeah, you have to be holding the fort down over here. Nice boost, 69. You gotta be holding the goal down from the back post, and and once you hit the back post, you can generally pull into it. The only reason that it's a good habit to hit the back post is, A, you don't leave this corner of the net open for them to shoot at, and B, it allows you to go up onto the, I'm going to use this post as an example, to go up onto the back wall to clear like the ball. If they're shooting the ball up here, you can just be like, whoop, gotcha, and just clear it way away. So that's why it's a good habit to do that, and it smooths out rotations. It's almost always the better option than going into a corner with your teammates. And Adam is dribbling. Adam is dribbling, which means what? Which means get the hell away from him. Stop being so close, because Adam now has to take you into consideration. He can see you in in his peripheral, and it's going to distract him from this guy who's probably going to try and demo him, and the guy who's coming in here probably trying to challenge him. You don't want to give him more things to think about when he's dribbling, unless you know that he's really pass oriented and he's going to try and flick this to you, but probably not. So give him the space and give him support from a distance when people are dribbling. And another reason for that is because if this guy comes in, whoever the fuck it is, comes in and challenges this, Adam's got the ball close to his car, which means that it's high likelihood of pinching. So if Adam doesn't play the 50-50 well, this ball could pinch in any number of directions, and once it pinches, you're too close. You're way too close. This space is not appropriate. So yeah, the second somebody dribbles, give them space. Unless they are in comms or something and ask for help. But Adam actually played that really well, that 50-50.